what's up, guys? Last Sunday victory, Monday of the season for the Panthers. That was probably the ugliest win I've ever seen, but there's something to that as well, and I think that's another check mark in the Steve Wilkes box in my mind, because if you can win ugly, because yesterday's game was a 10-7 defensive slobber knocker, ugly type of game with the offensive line injuries, the fractured ankle of Brady Christensen and Austin Colbert tearing his ACL. Those guys should be ready for the 2023 season, but we will wait and see on that. That's why guys like Cade Mays, Michael Jordan, that had the big fumble recovery on our one touchdown drive, is going to be key. Obviously, you got guys like Bradley Bozeman that need to be signed yesterday, in my opinion, because he was the center of the offensive line turnaround for me. Deontay Foreman did a lot of work on that one touchdown drive. We had 171 rushing yards. Yes, Sam Darnold played poor, definitely. He only had 43 passing yards, but that was due to the offensive line shuffling, and the Saints secondary was glue. We really couldn't get open no matter what we tried. And Sam did use his legs very, very nicely on that last drive to help set up Eddie Pinheiro for the game-winning field goal. And I got to tip my cap to Eddie. After the disappointing Atlanta game, he was absolutely nails all season long. Special teams was probably the brightest of all spots this season. 39 punts for Johnny Hecker inside the 20-yard line was a Panther record. J.J. Jansen, when you don't talk about a long snapper, that is a good thing, and we haven't had to talk about long snapping and snaps ever, honestly, that I can remember. So tip the cap to J.J. And also, you got to tip your cap to C.J. Henderson. Yeah, did he have his worst game of the year at the wrong time last week? Yeah, but he played like a man on a mission yesterday. Got beat on the route to Chris Olave at the end of half, but worked back and forced the peanut punch fumble. And that also talks to Steve Wilkes' coaching ability to be able to take a guy that had a very forgettable week, motivate him, and have a bounce back week. That is something to write home about. Shaq Thompson was all over the place. His future is in question, obviously. Shaq Thompson has been a part of the Carolina Panther linebacker room forever, and it would be weird to see him not in a Panther uniform. Hopefully we can work out that, because he is that veteran that you need. Amari Barno, the youngster, absolutely disregarded Troutman, the tight end, to get a big sack on Andy Dalton late in that game as well. So you guys, some young guys. Frankie Louvu was a man possessed the last 2 weeks. Second in tackles for loss in a season. Second behind Luke Kuechly. He had 19. Frankie Louvu had 19. Luke Kuechly had 20. And he had 7 sacks. I believe he's the first Panther player to have those 2 distinctions. So we need to work out a contract for him too. Extension, whatever. That's going to be important. But as far as excuse me, as far as the head coaching goes, I understand you do your due diligence, and you definitely need to interviewing guys like Frank Reich and Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell is very well known for developing young quarterbacks. But I hope it doesn't turn into a Rich Bisaccia type of situation where where you got a guy right in front of you that the players love, the players respond to, the fan base responds to, and you go a different direction. Because I think Steve Wilks 6-6, something Matt Rule could not do. Swept the Saints for the first time in 7 years. Went 6-6 after trading your best player, Christian McCaffrey. Got the best out of some players that were not being used properly. Deontay Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, Terrence Marshall, and understanding what it needs to lead and bringing the fans back to be excited for Carolina Panther football again. That is attributed to Steve Wilks for darn sure, and to be able to be on the doorstep of a playoff berth and have a top 10 pick in the draft after the grossness that we saw with Matt Rule at the helm. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of check marks in Steve Wilks' box for me, and whatever happens with Steve, I hope he gets the best, because yes, he is a good NFL coach, and he deserves as many opportunities as he gets. I hope it's with the Carolina Panthers still on his chest, but if it's not, thank you, Steve Wilks, for bringing Carolina Panther football back to life and making Keep Pounding a staple again in our city, and making Panther football fun to watch again. So just thank you, and whatever happens, wish you the best of luck. I hope you are with the Panthers, but we will see, and thank you to all the players and everything, because this was definitely a weird, trying year, but there is a lot to build on. And just for the record, I would be willing to bring Sam Darnold back as a bridge quarterback for whoever that is in the future, whether that be Matt Corral or somebody we draft this year or years to come. But I think we are in a very, very, very solid place right now, especially being able to get the offensive line pretty much nailed down and figured out, and just need some skill positions. DJ Moore is a number one. He showed that this year, and he continues to show that with the carousel of quarterbacks. It's very, very impressive. So that is really key as well. But keep pounding, go Panthers. I will have all the off-season news covered right here. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. And as always, keep pounding, go Panthers.